You see the signs of resistance every now and then when teams are in spawn. You see them going to other heroes, thinking, you know, almost bargaining with themselves, be like, you know, I could go Mei here. I could do these things. Then you see them just broken by the weight of reality.
Yeah, reality is very heavy right now. It is quite heavy, but at the same time, I still think we're going to see some really good play. I still think GOATS has a lot of room for innovation, despite what the Twitch viewers might think. You know, Forehead. This is Forehead coming at you, but like, I just think that I think there's a lot of room here still for innovation.
You know, fast fact, you're not actually the Forehead guy, as Golden Boy actually is the What Face guy, but you're just going to be eternally associated with that emote. I hope you're happy with that. Have you made your peace?
Is Golden Boy, isn't What Face isn't Forehead?
No, what face is Golden Boy? I'm just saying he's eternally associated with it, obviously, because it's him.
Well, I'm going to be a second place up and coming for association with an emote. But they're going to see Uprising Academy pushing this choke, trying to get themselves in. Uprising
looking for their way in. Of course, HamTornado, you know, we're still seeing heavy Goats be Goat style setup, but we do have the change up here in the McCree from asking, and it's just about how do you set up this McCree, where right now he's not getting the sightlines.
Yeah, absolutely he's not. And what I think Uprising should be looking to set up if they have this McCree, they either want to take a high ground and put him there, or they want to look on like a multiple stun on Chainsick or one of the tanks and allow the McCree to splash, making a lot of value.
Asking right now who to work with, but what are you going to hit here? The shield's constantly in his way, just making things real tough for everyone's favorite cowboy, except maybe Ash. That's a complicated relationship.
And this is actually the exact opposite of what Uprising wants to be doing and what Fusion does, because look at nice grab. He's just been spamming this choke, and there it goes, and this should be a full wipe.
Yeah, and asking the first one to fall here, right? Where he wasn't able to find anything on the McCree, and yeah, okay, you have Deadeye coming up, but still gonna swap, not important enough.
Yeah, there's no way they should stay on this comp, especially since Swimmer just used ult. And, ooh, okay, maybe I'm wrong. I'm wrong, CP. I mean, if they believe in the comp, they believe in the comp. And Crackalacken just got staggered so hard, too. But this is where Fusion wants to fight, is at this choke. So I want to see Uprising try to take the right side, maybe bring it to point, or try to be really aggressive to the left. They just can't sit in the choke and let Nice bombard them.
Do you think they're actually banking on the Deadeye here? I mean, it is a very difficult ult to get heavy value on, but you know, maybe you get Klaus, you get a good shield dash, you make it work, maybe?
It's possible, but Deadeye traditionally has been press Q and tell the enemy to come kill me button. So I don't think that should be what they're looking for at all. And they do pick up asking, but they do force the res, and they're going to be pushing here. So I really want to see them try to push different. And asking Alarm? What?
Payback! Alarm expose himself, looking for that sweet, sweet pickoff one more time. Asking, having none of it. So able to get the 6v5, really validates the free pick, at least for this push, taking the high ground, and it's thematic because, you know, it might be about to be high noon.
And also, this fight isn't over by any means. This will be a space creational here for asking, trying to get them away from the point and allowing them to take position, but Elk's gonna have beat soon. They do have rally. This is 100% still winnable for Fusion.
Fusion gonna come right back over, right back onto the point. Primal Rage up from Chainsick, and of course Primal Rage still gonna make space here. Graviton coming in here from Fusion, they're looking for a fall through, don't quite get it. Elk out of fight, gets blown up. Transcend about to fade here from Alarm, and they're running out of tools. Sound Barrier is going to be back at spawn. Uprising to the full 6. No, Swimmer goes down! He had Valkyrie set up! Nice! Microwaving the support backline of the Uprising.
And this is actually still potentially winnable if Asking keeps hard popping so hard. Oh, but he does get taken out, but it's still very, very winnable. They have this point control. It's pretty much only Alarm at this point. Oh, but Elk comes back and drops the beat, and Alarm and Elk are just going to duo it. They're going to duo the point CP.
Support power coming on in. Alarm making his mark known, and as a support player yourself, Avast, how happy did that make you?
I think that was really, really smart from Elk. A lot of people would be pretty hesitant to drop the beat there when it says you versus tanks, but Zen is so strong right now, and with that beat, Alarm could just walk all over them.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just Zen, it's Alarm. There might be a difference here. He's not your garden variety Zenyatta. He is one of the deadliest Zenyatas in the game. Fusion University, now they've been able to regroup. 6 on the point for Uprising, so it'll be 6 for Fusion. Now, they do have to get the point. They have nothing left to give, and oh boy, what a shatter. Fusion saying, I've had enough of this. They used to get rid of Chang early on in the fight. Elk fighting back the other way, both main tanks out, but while it goes on, point is capped.
And somehow Elk has gotten 2 kills in that fight, and that was pretty unfortunate for Fusion, because Alarm built another trance in that fight after just using the fight before, but he wasn't able to get it off fast enough, and they lost the point. So now they stabilized, but it was really just the worst possible thing that could have happened for them in that fight.
Hey, I mean, the upside here for Fusion, if nothing else, right, is that you buy yourself time. You've drained half the time off the clock. You don't have that classic point B hold for 7 minutes on HamTornado.
Yeah, absolutely. And Uprising does have a relatively solid ult economy coming into this. They're going to have Trance, they have a Rally, they have Diva Bomb, so they do have a lot of space creation if possible, but I sort of would like them to come pretty much tank the grab here, the grab Diva Bomb, and then just push another time. And it looks like it might very lie as well, being what's happening here.
Clouds down immediately, Bernard the exclamation point. That is quick, easy, and done. Bomb, grab, connection coming on in there for Fusion University, and, you know, again, that just gives them a lot of time to move.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to see Uprising do. They didn't commit to that fight at all anyway. They let themselves just be wiped by that combo, and now they're looking a lot better for this next fight because they have so many ults coming up. And I think they should just, they shouldn't even fight they shouldn't fight high ground at all here, really. They should just take the fight to point and let the rally do the work for them.
Uprising, they're going to be taking another shot here, and again, you know, we talk about ult economy is so important here on Assault. What is Uprising really looking for here?
Uprising is looking, like I said, to take this fight to point. They don't have any combos on the side of Fusion University, and then they're going to let their support ults really do work.
Well, Dino does have the Transcendence up, but Fusion's is super separate. He's on the ground. Uprising, they just get scattered, right? They get knocked off into the pit, and they can't stay together, and oh boy, time for that long, long ride. Zarya, right down to the pavement.
And that was really well played from Chansik there. In particular, he was able to split them where their Rally and their Trance both had no value at all, and so then he was able to, and like we saw, pushing Asking off the edge, and that's exactly what you want to do with a Primal. A Primal is so strong in that situation.
You gotta respect that from Chansik coming out there. You take that little bit of extra damage just to let them know that you had the high.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, with that push, it's pretty much equalized. No team has a clear ult advantage here at all. If anything, Fusion might be ahead. And really, this is where defender advantage definitely comes into play. And I want to see Uprising, you know, they're going to have to make some rotations here, going to have to make some big plays to try to crack it open.
Yeah, I mean, this is also where you look to Fusions, right? You're like, you know, Fusions, that magical hammer that you carry around. You want to swing it one more time, and...
Ooh, that's a hit and a miss, CP.
Yeah, it was looking good. Maybe a second earlier, it's even better, but no, doesn't quite do the job of what they're looking for. Now, they're still able to get on top here, but Fusion now has the ability to rotate around.
And they've also sacrificed an ult for that position. And they drop a beat. They're looking to go very aggressive here, but I think that was, they didn't seem like they were set up for that at all. And the Trance?
What?
Where's the value here? They're not getting a lot of value. They really have to clean this up, but they're just being pushed back into the choke, and Fusion's alone on point.
I haven't seen this much panic buying from anything since people were buying Bitcoin all the way up to 20K. That just, I'm not sure what I just saw there, but that was not good coming in from Uprising.
Yeah, and that was just like a really poor usage of ults there. I'm assuming that they had that positional advantage. They wanted to use that beat to be more aggressive, but they weren't set up for it at all. The Lucio wasn't even there to give them speed boost, so I just don't agree with that play.
You used it ult. I'm going to use it ult too. I don't think this is great use of my money, but I'm going to throw it in. Why not?
Yeah, absolutely. And now Fusion, I mean, look at their ult economy in comparison, along with still controlling this high ground and having that defender advantage. This is looking really bad for Uprising, but I like that they're trying to take a little bit more risk to break open the defense.
Uprising looking for a way in, down to the holding onto the grab on top. Now they're going to slowly try and grind their way over. Gotta heal the tanks back up. Long range grab, risky, but they use it. Oh man, when you really want to kill a Zarya.
They really want a nice dead there. And I gotta say, that wasn't good value, CP. That was not good value at all, and Alarm was able to save the Trance, and this should be a one fight.
Her body was flying. How is that not value?
No, that's not value, I'm afraid. It looked really cool. It looked really cool, I guess, but was not value at all.
Do you play for wins or do you play for E-points?
I would play for wins, I think. I would hope.
Well, you know what? I think your philosophy on life is misguided, just like that attack was from Uprising, because you don't invest that much to kill one Zarya.
I would have liked if they had just only used the grab to kill Nice, but they also committed the Diva Bomb, and I assume it was just reflexive because they wanted to follow up on that combo. But now they're going to have to trickle in here, and they really don't have a lot to work with.
No, not in the least. Fusion, they just need a little bit more to put this on autopilot. You see the Primal Rage in reserve here. Let's use it. 1400 HP at the Sound Baron. Oh, it's time. Oh, is he going to go?
He's getting him. He's
Oh!
getting him. He'll get him. He'll get him.
It's close. Now he's down. Good didn't get a mid-transcendence, but it's still good enough. It was a nice juggle. I respect it. Fusion University going to be holding here on point B.
That was, I actually have to say, I really like Chans's performance there. He did a really good job with those Primals, because Primal, when you're looking at a Deathwall heavy comp like this, his whole goal is to split the team and try to isolate people, and he did a really good job.
Okay, so I have a request of production here, and normally we keep this on our own comms, but this is important. I want you guys to be on this well. We need a replay of Nice getting just absolutely demolished. I want to see him just getting obliterated by everything possible. Not because it was a good idea, but he went flying.
Yeah, it was a little unfortunate for him.
I need this replay in my life.
It was just a sad time overall to be a Zarya player for Fusion University in that particular moment.
It's like, what do I do? It's like, well, you know, you kind of did what you had to do, which was turn your mind to a ragdoll and take flight.
Yeah, absolutely. And now Uprising is in a tough position. If they're gonna win, they have to hold. They have to hold first point, and which is really tough. HamTornado is traditionally one of the hardest points to hold first on because it's just so easy to get the staggered spawns. There's so much room to work with once you get through the choke. I mean, it's gonna be really tough.
Yeah, I mean, it's not an easy task at all. And now the funny thing is that when you put teams under pressure, it's like, you have to get that first point hold. Suddenly you see sort of, you know, the galaxy brains start coming up here, and they go, but we can play other heroes. We can summon the rat. Somewhere out there, Jake is sneezing because someone is playing Junkrat in a high-end competitive game. But, hey, okay, Klaus coming out in the Junkrat.
Oh, there's your replay, ZP. Here it is.
Thank you
okay,
so much.
Let's look. Nice in the left corner. He's looking really, he doesn't look very too assuming here, and there it is.
Oh, look at this. He's already dead. He's already dead.
He's somersaulting through the air. Rest in peace.
Oh,
nice.
Oh boy. Yeah, that was the thing. But, okay, now back to... You know, the real story here, we got Hanzo Junkrat as a defense.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've seen this work before. We've seen it work previously, but I don't know. There's something about like players when it's like, we need to hold first. What do we play? Orisa. It's always Orisa, and I don't always agree with this, especially when Goats is so meta right now, because Goats can just run into the Orisa and just win.
Look, stop trying to blow the minds of every pub player on HamTornado ever. You're just lucky there's not a mid.
It just doesn't make any sense, CP. Like, Orisa's static, Goats very fast. They have a Reinhardt that swings on you. I don't like it that much. But well, Fusion looks like they are going to be changing to is this a Zen Ana I see? Oh no, Ana Lucio. I can't speak. Ana Lucio.
All right, we got some change-ups here. I think Elk is probably a little bit jealous in his heart of hearts that he can't be in the Ana, but it's fine. Alarm plays a pretty darn good Ana as well. And Uprising, they're just gonna try and make the most of this Junkrat here, but want to swap to the Ana.
Yeah, I think it's because they know they're gonna be taking a lot of spam damage from Asking and Klaus, so it's very easy to build up that nano boost, and then they can just play the point, and once they get it, they can sort of just brawl. They can let Chansic just do as much damage as possible since there is no counter Ryan, and I actually do like that a lot.
So Fusion University is just going to wrap around, almost get a tick for free here. Uprising just getting thoroughly flummoxed. They're not able to get to that point in time. And now it's like, all right, I'm going to raise the shield right back over here. It's totally going to be fine. Nothing bad could happen. They're hoping for the Hanzo to get a pickoff here, but this is clinical for Fusion University. They're not really under threat. They have 2 pickoffs for free, and here comes the nano boost. Time to swing that hammer.
And there it is. Just a nano boosted Reinhardt just swinging. He gets the kills. That was pretty much textbook. That's what they wanted. They wanted to bring in the point and let that Ryan pop off with nano boost, and they're just running fast the last. And Klaus still doesn't have tires, ZP, and that's so bad.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's going to get it.
And he swaps, yeah.
He swaps. The tire dream is dead. Jake is crying. And now, speaking of tears, they might be had on the ground. Chansic holding onto the shatter. Swimmer blown up.
Oh,
interrupted.
No,
but
that's sad.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, though. Grab works out. 3 people going to fall. And this is looking just very clinical and easy here for Fusion.
Yeah, and they are going to pick up. That was exactly what they wanted to do. That was just perfect.
Yeah.
It was literally just perfect all around. I love the Ana switch. I love that they saw the Orisa and they're like, okay, we're going to take the fight to point. We're going to let the Junkrat build for us, and then we're just going to win because now we can speed boost and nano boost with Reinhardt.
Yeah, it's what it's like, I'm 90% to tire. No, Brigitte.
I also don't agree with that either. And what was really, I think, a game changer there is they went for that static defense with having the Junkrat and the Hanzo, and they didn't get Rip Tire.
No.
And you have to get Rip Tire in that situation.
I mean, when you're not getting Rip Tire, it also just means like, you have this hero with big explosive abilities, you have enemies clumped in the ball, you're not hitting anyone. No one getting hit. That's a problem.
Yeah, absolutely. And because it's essentially the crux of the defense there when you're facing a tank-heavy position. So, and here we see Chansic once again, just doing great juggling. All that time on last. Like I said, I just think he did fantastic juggling, a very good split of Uprising.
Also, I just think the series in general has almost been the story of his immediate path, just in a microcosm, right? Where I think it would not be wrong to say that he started out pretty rough. It wasn't the greatest opening. And I mean, part of that was also team synergy, to be sure. It's not all his fault, but he has picked up steam as this match has gone on, and Fusion has looked better and better as a result.
Yeah, absolutely. They've really picked up their stride. And I think also what we're seeing is like a lot more cerebral play from Fusion. They've been counter-stratting Uprising at just about every turn. And I think that's really huge in a meta like this. And really just in general, you got to be playing with your brain, because if those neurons aren't firing, you're not going to win.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's kind of a vital component. I'd like to think. You want to get that up all the way up to stage 4. Definitely don't want to leave it at stage 1. I think images on the internet have told us enough of that. And Oh, you know, that's a happy moment of Reinhardt's life. When you get the nano boost, you have
There's
Nerf
no
Shatter.
brig on the field. You're just swinging away. It's like quad tank all over again almost. You just feel happy. You're like, oh yeah, I get to swing.
You feel liberated. It's just like, oh man, I get to live that fraggy lifestyle circa 2016. Like when he was bringing doom to all of Europe. It's like, who is this man and why is he in our backline and why isn't he falling?
Yeah, absolutely. And overall, that was a really great performance for Fusion on Hanamura. And we're all going to move into Dorado, which, I don't know. I've been seeing some interesting compositions on both sides, realistically, but it's still, I mean, I just think that Fusion right now have picked up so much steam that I gotta think they're looking really strong moving into the next map.
Yeah, I mean, Dorado going in here, I'd say you take a look at momentum over the match. I mean, maybe it's the lack of logo coming up for Uprising Academy.
That makes sense.
That slowly drained their mojo over the course of it. You know, that's what you use to seal a team's power. You need the logo.
That's intergalactic brain right there, ZP. Yeah. We talked about that. You're playing 4D chess here. The logo is that's the power once again.
Yeah. But let's assume that maybe that isn't the case, and it's something a little bit more rooted in, you know, things like facts and things that we can easily observe, which, by the way, not anywhere near fun, right? What do you think that needs to happen here for this to turn around for Uprising? Because they did start out pretty strong, and Fusion's has good moments, for sure.
I think they just really need to be, so far, I haven't been seeing them set up those combos nearly as effectively as they should have. I've also seen that they're just not, once again, we saw this earlier in our first game of the day with Mayhem Academy. With Goats, you have to be decisive when you make a push, and you have to have a plan. And I'm sort of seeing a staggered usage of ult. I'm seeing ults come out too late, too early, and they really need to be more unified in their plays, because really, at the end of the day, you're not going to win the fight if you're not the better team, pretty much the better coordinated team in Goats.
Yeah, and I mean, also, if you want any proof of this, if you've been in ranked at any point, and you've had the thing where people have watched competitive games, but they don't really know actually, they're like, guys, just go Goats, it's going to work. And then you end up going, we didn't do anything. We just got wrecked. It's like, it takes coordination, guys. It actually does.
It's like picking Orisa on first point after you need a hold.
Yeah.
Why are you picking Orisa? Does anyone know?
No, it just like...
I just love playing the mechanical horse that gets dominated by the Reinhardt. It's really fun. That's epic.
Hey, man, you fortify. She was in that cinematic. I don't know. Actually, she was in cinematic. She was just like... No, she was implied to be.
That's a leak.
Yeah.
That's a leak.
I see. I have no leaks. Really. Honestly, just awkwardly keep it on me here as we wait. But no, it's interesting to see how things evolve and, you know, what people think is effective. But I think going back to Orisa, you know, throw the memes aside for a moment. I think the reason why you would try and run it there, right, is just you're looking for anything that could maybe give you the spark to a first point hold. And sometimes that's throwing the unexpected at a team and hoping that they go, I don't know how to deal with this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you have to have the trump card when you're playing that Orisa in the tank heavy comp, but I'm sort of, I don't know, I didn't like the Hanzo as much. I actually think Sombra fits a lot better in that comp when you're playing slow and you're letting Sombra get poke, and then you have an EMP, and EMP is just always good in this meta versus tank. It's never bad, and you essentially don't have to give the Sombra any resources because she's just able to self-sustain so much.
Dude, EMP has never been bad. Even back when Sombra was literally just like, why do you play this hero? I play this hero to hack health packs and drop EMP. Still really good because EMP is just insane. Now, obviously, we've seen a lot less Sombra play, where Sombra went from, oh, this hero is ridiculous. We know everything. We see everything. Sombra all the time. And now we go back to it, and you're seeing way less of it. Why is she kind of falling out of favor?
I mean, the problem at the end of the day is that she's only good when you have EMP for the most part. It's very tough for you to get hacks off still because there's just so much protection around your Reinhardt as long as you're playing around him properly. And she doesn't do enough damage to really warrant her use unless you have EMP. And that's why I think Sombra's fallen out of the meta in a lot of different ways.
So it's one of those things where even though she's been improved in other ways, revolves around EMP, just not getting enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, now we head back here to America where those ships, I'm not sure they've ever moved. I'm not actually convinced they're ships anymore. It might just be an elaborate landscape. But as we take a look here at the teams they set up, we do have... I mean, it's in setup. I'm not going to... Uprising, I want to believe, and it could be reasonable, but Klaus, now you're swapping all things around. You've been on Brigida a lot, so I don't know if this is realistic. Let's talk about what probably is. You take a look at Fusion University, and it's
Looks about right. Looks about right to me, ZP. It checks out. Kowalski analysis, and I see 100% accuracy there. And Uprising, I doubt I'll see a Roadhog because that character is an ult battery. I think Roadhog is really bad, so I hope they don't roll out with it.
You know, did you just hear the tears of Harblue crying in the background?
Well, Harb, sorry, buddy. Sorry, buddy.
I just want to play Harb. Oh, well. Uprising, though, they are going to be coming out with a change-up. It's going to be Klaus on the Pharah asking on the Widow, so we'll see if this can work to break up Fusion. As Fusion They don't care. They just go straight to the spawn.
And I like this a lot. They're running dive goats. They're playing the break. They're trying to be really aggressive early on this initiation because they don't want to give room to Asking and Klaus. And they are backing up and trying to reset up here at the choke point, which is something I do agree with, but they need to make sure to be abusing this high ground because they don't want Klaus and Asking to get a lot of positional advantage.
Ooh, nice early headshot onto the Zarya there. And oh, there's the follow
And
through.
there it is.
Slam dunk. Layup, alley-oop, call whatever NBA terminology you want as Klaus is going in, making a three-pointer. Let's go!
And he just, I mean, honestly, I was about to say, that's the disrespect barrage right there, ZP. That's when you get the ult so fast, you just drop it because who cares if it's good? You're like, oh yeah, I have ult already. But it worked. That had value.
That's the old Steph Curry three-pointer fouled while taking the shot type of situation there. As Uprising, this Pharah strategy has broken what we expect to be meta.
Yeah, absolutely. And what do I see here from Fusion University? I see a counter widow and a tracer.
Okay, all hell is broken loose. That's what we're seeing.
Well, where are we at, ZP? What alternate dimension have we teleported to?
I don't know. I mean, I want to say like at least the 7th. I'm not really sure. I'm just coming up with numbers here, but whatever universe it is, it's where goats became extinct. And Snillo on the Widow finds Asking a Widow duel in this game, in this age. Let's go again.
Snillo is popping off right now. He just got 2 quick frags. They were able to get the res onto Asking, but now they stabilized because those picks from Snillo on the flank, and that was really big.
Snillo going, I'm out of jail. This is the most freeing moment of my life. But do you see Changesick going to fall here? And Snillo, I don't think he's heading to the spawn door, but he's keeping his options open.
Well, he's playing kind of afraid right now because Asking did pop that infra site, and he knows where he's at. So they're trying to play around it, try to get out, trying to wait for it to wear off, because then he can counterplay him much more effectively. Right now, you see Fusion playing a little bit scared because they're waiting for that ult to go away, and then they're going to re-engage right here.
Asking was also going very highly aggro there. Wasn't caught out as a result of it, but you know, sometimes Widow, no pain, no gain, no risk, no reward. And okay, well, that's a self-destruct. And Snillo finds Asking. Doesn't care about the self-destruct. Knew he was safe. And Snillo right now, again, free to be the hit scan hero he wants to be.
Yeah, he is doing really, really well right now. I'm glad that he's out of the jail. He's just been playing fantastic, and Fusion has re-established himself now on this high ground. They have their own infra site now, and now Snillo can be the one to play overly aggressive. He doesn't have to fear. He has all-seeing ability.
Yeah, he sees everything right now. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3 for him, as he's just looking for these pickoffs. And just like gonna fade, but Fusion University has really gotten a good defense off of a tough start now, and it's because of this Widow.
Yeah, absolutely. Really, right now, we're looking at a classic Widow battle. And whoever Widow pretty much pops off, that's the way you're going to be able to engage. So whoever will pop this Valve really early, actually. And it doesn't seem like they're not doing anything with it at all, but Fusion's gets nice somehow.
We're just seeing coordination break down all sides because no one has been practicing this. That's actually my pet theorem we're seeing. Asking, though, gets his revenge, gets another, and Uprising now starting to bring this the other way. It's a back-and-forth nature of Widow battles.
Yeah, and Asking has been doing really well right now. Somehow, despite none of that really making sense on a macro level, they all individually popped off, and here they are. We're at a great position for Uprising. They can come back here. Alarm does have trans, and Chase does have ult to contest, but I don't think they would be smart to do so. Oh, but they are touching.
Yeah, Nice is going to come out here to contest, but I've already seen the signs of going back to normalcy here from Fusion University, but we're still going to give this one more go. Transcendence out here from Alarm. Changesick using the Primal Rage to delay. Klaus on the outskirts right now, looking for Snillo. Diving on in. Snillo super low. Needs a little bit more. No! Alarm got his back.
Alarm is just popping off right now. He's doing really well. The trans actually managed to contest, but remember, Dino just used his ult, and it didn't seem like they get a lot of value out of it. But he is going to pick up Changesick because he went so deep trying to chase that backline, and I think this should be it for Uprising.
Yeah, they need to deal with Snillo here, if nothing else, though, because here's the problem is that Fusion is still managing the delay, but Bernard going to fall. Okay, Snillo, you can't throw yourself on the point of it. You could, but you're just going to get waxed immediately should you do so. 0.06, and all right, gets Dino, but it's too much power of the Uprising here.
Yeah, and they're actually
okay.
Alarm? Alarm? ZP? What is he doing?
He picks off 3 people, solo transcends and goes, no! 5 point, and okay, it's gone.
Well, he couldn't do any more there. He couldn't, but still, that was a really good stagger contest from Fusion. But I don't know, I still would have liked to see maybe a stronger hold here at the doors with more ults. But I mean, really, they still got value out of the stagger contest.
Okay, so now we're taking a look at the game here, and okay, Fusion, no. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do this.
They do, ZP.
No.
You can't talk them down from this.
I mean, they still have a hamster. No! All right.
It's over.
We're back.
But look, Asking's on McCree. Never mind. Get baited.
All right, guys. We apologize for your scheduled GOATS gameplay and the break that was there. Now we are back to our regularly scheduled.
Now, it looks like we're going to be seeing, a different variation here because Fusion does have that primal, and I'm assuming he's going to try to go very aggressive here with this because he can make a lot of space.
Oh, Fusion University, again, looking to reestablish both teams, losing a fair bit of ult charge and all these swap-ups, but it's Uprising. You got the Primal Rage up early, Dino ready to back up the Fusion to Transcend Switch to get slow, and that's going to be about now in just a moment here as Changsik is going to fall.
And that was really good from Fusions there to back Changsik into that corner with the Focus Fire. And Elk also burned B, and they didn't really get anything out of it, which is huge, because Dino has this trance, Alarm will have yet another, but the positional advantage for Uprising is so strong right now.
It was really good self-control from Dino there because, okay, it was mid-problem range, Fusion was getting low. A lot of Zens would have popped it there. Dino, under a bit of pressure, going to try and wait to the last possible minute here because this is their ace in the hole, as you alluded to. Now, Transcend's going to be coming out here from Alarm, and Dino answers a little bit later. That's what you want as a Zen.
And Changsik will go down to the Diva Bomb, but they do have to grab Diva combo of their own, and this should be a really big combo.
Goes back the other way, not quite as big as it would have liked. The Zarya shields making it work. Rav back the other way, Stillo in danger, Stillo down, Elk down as well. The turnabout coming in here from Uprising as they bring it back the other way. They're gonna drop the beat. They're feeling it right here and right now.
And that was really bad, not getting value out of that combo, because the Regina was still able to block the Diva Bomb. They didn't have anything to stop any of those shields and all those barriers. And right now, Fusion's going to be chasing Alarm into the spawn, picking up the frag. And right now, I think we're just looking at a stagger fight, because the only person that's going to be able to do anything here is maybe Changsik with a Shatter.
It's going to be very, very tough. Alarm going, I hit him with every orb, but it didn't matter. It's like, yeah, it was a mad monkey in your face. What are you going to do, man? As Uprising just going forward, late Earth Shatter, not going to do anything. And hey, man, you don't always see completions here in Dorado, so this is a statement coming out here by the Uprising.
And then plenty of time left, too, with that. So
Yep.
I mean, that was pretty good. That was a really good push, actually, for Uprising. And there was a little bit bad for Fusion there because we touched upon this earlier, but the Zarya Diva combo is your only real combo in GOATS.
Yep.
And you have to make sure it's set up properly. You have to make sure, does the Zarya not have bubbles? Does the Ryan have shield? Etc., etc. And also that includes the Bridget shield. And they didn't have anything to deal with it, and so they was able to block the bomb entirely.
Yep, that is the tail of the tape there, and I mean those combinations and interactions so incredibly important to watch as you're following this sort of gameplay. But okay, I'm down for this. I'm very down for this. Before we just kind of got it on point B, but now we're taking a look at the opening here. We got some double sniper potential. I don't think Bernard's going the Hunter.
I also don't think Elk will be playing Widow.
Yeah, I don't think it is. It's like I want to believe, but Elk. Look, he probably could play Widow. In fairness,
I mean, he probably could, but could he out Widow Asking though? Asking is really good at Widow.
Probably not. And Asking the Widow is a little bit more realistic here.
Yeah, I agree. And we saw a lot of Widow playing throughout the first and second points there. And it was really, I mean, it was good. It was good. We saw both Snillo and Asking doing a lot of work. And I think this is one of those maps where the sightlines are so big, where Sniper still has a role. Sniper classes like Hanzo and Widow.
And I mean, Dorado, it's a verticality. It's a part that you get wide sightlines, things that generally snipers crave. It's kind of, you go back to your old idiocracy, it's like, what do plans crave? They want Prondo. Well, what do snipers want? They want sightlines. And you do get it here in Dorado, but you also get a healthy dose of shields if you're running GOATs.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like Elk will probably just be on this Widow to scout, but swapping pretty much immediately. And it looks like what we're seeing here is, nope, it's GOATs. I thought they were going to say in the Hanzo, but it's GOATs. But Uprising still holding close, Tracer, Widow with a dive composition. And this is where I don't like them backing up and giving so much space. They could definitely be abusing Widow's sightlines here. They could look for Tracer for poke, and they could be trying to set up a ping pong, but they just sort of give up all the space.
Asking was able to get a headshot on someone there. That's why he's at 27%, but it was probably on a tank. It was immediately healed back up, and I think you're absolutely right. You miss every shot you don't take, and there wasn't a whole lot of shots taken there.
Yeah, absolutely. And here is where Fusion's comp gets even better because they're fighting at this choke. They have a lot of rooms to go in and out of. It looks like they're gonna be rotating now, go from high ground, maybe go from the taco stand. But this is where Uprising has to be letting them swarm in and sort of collapse on their backline or play very split so they can try to punish them.
Getting the early dink there, getting very close to an Infrasight, but here's the thing. Infrasight usually slows it down, but that's before the battle. Fusion University, they're already getting in there. Changsik getting healed on up, way better support going to him this time around. And again, just pushing the payload here. Uprising, even trying to find anything to turn this back. And by anything, I mean they're waiting on Asking, and so far he has not delivered, but still gonna fall. Uprising with some opportunity here.
And that was huge to get Snillo early. Brigade going down early first, and a comp like this when Trace is being played and they're playing very split is perfect. That's exactly what you want to do. You want to play around the fact that Bridget doesn't have a lot of mobility, and you want to be abusing all those angles around her.
Oh, he had it.
Nah, Snillo looks like he's got his right click bound.
Yeah, but there was an opportunity there. He didn't have it immediately. Asking had the free shot. And, it would have been a tiny stagger.
I think Swimmer just accidentally pressed Q. He just bounced.
I don't think there's anything there. That is absolutely...
Look, he's flying, trying to get some value, but also, look at him. That was definitely an accidental Q press if I've ever seen it.
Look, sometimes you're just possessed by the demon, right? You're just like, you know what,
I must brag.
Yeah, exactly. We call it cruise disease, where cruise is like a Genji main at heart, but oh, alarm gonna get popped off here by asking. And that helps. That takes away the sting of accidentally pressing Q.
Okay, asking is just hard popping heads here right now. And that was the worst possible thing that could have happened. Alarm, he had that trance. They don't have Valk on the side of Swimmer anymore. That was definitely a chance to be really aggressive because there is no combo play for Uprising. And you could use that trance to be really aggressive on the backline or even just take out the tanks.
Asking meanwhile going, why is my hook breaking? And it's like, well, because you broke it. You broke it.
That makes sense to me.
But you know what? He's had a good turnabout here. The last fight, very solid.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to be reapproaching this choke. Once again, Alarm still has that ult. Elk still has that ult. I would really like to see them try to make some moves here with these support ults and try to force Uprising into a bad position.
Self-destruct right over the top. Going to get shielded right on off. Fusion University over the first hurdle. Self-destruct, back on over. Not going to do anything. Lucky to get back to his back. Now we look at Nice. Graviton, ready. Looking to get through the D.Va obstacle course here. Crack not even looking at him. It's like, surprise! You have a D.Va, you have the grab right on the backside. Crack gonna get D-Macked as Fusion now starting to crack the case here. They're up effectively 2. This is really good for Fusion.
Yeah, this should be really good. They don't have a D.Va in play. They don't have Klaus to really pick off any of the backline or give any sort of high damage. This is over for, this is pretty much completely over for Uprising. But still, I think that was a pretty good first hold.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I mean, anytime you can pull that much time off the clock on any first point, let alone Dorado first, it's a solid movement. Meanwhile, we take a look at Uprising. Uprising, they're not giving in to scum and villainy here just yet. No, they're coming out here on the Widow and the Pharah. So Uprising willing to just sort of upend the established meta.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's still, like we talked about this earlier, pretty much lots of like airspace is what Klaus has on this map. Swimmer does have Valk, so it allows him to really get the maximum value out of this Pharaoh pick. And I really am interested to see if they can set up a big barrage because he's already at 32% here, ZP.
Klaus just laying in the rockets, and there hasn't been a great response from here. The best response is saying a D.Va there, but meanwhile, Alarm's going, get him out of here. I have to shoot so many orbs at him, and while this is going on, it's so much room for the rest of Uprising. Asking still a threat, and Fusion just getting peppered down here. Changsik maybe had enough, drops a shatter, and tries to move in and does catch Fusion. So Fusion's still controlling the situation, and with 2 pickoffs, it's actually looking rather grim here for Uprising.
Yeah, and that was really good for Changsik because sometimes, like, too many Ryans try to hold that when they're playing against a dive composition, try to hold their shatter, and realistically, you're not going to get any big shatter. So it's good just to find a pick, isolate it, get it. And really, that could have still been winnable, but Swimmer went for a really risky res there onto Fusions. Like, it was just so risky. Like, he was in the middle of the enemy team.
It's kind of one of those things where it's like, it's so risky that the other team does it. It's like, no, did that guy just res in front of us? Did he just succeed in resing in front of us? No, not this time. But now as we go to the other side, Fusion's down immediately. Klaus gonna have to bring this back somehow, some way. 1 meter away, everyone falling. Desperation barrage. Not gonna do the job. Fusion University, well on their way here. They're getting into point C.
Yeah, and once again, really, it's not the best ult uses I've ever seen, but it's still really scrappy here on the point. But they're using it what they need to, which is to guarantee kills against this very mobile dive composition, and allows them to keep steamrolling. A nice just solo grab to Asking in the backline.
Okay, I thought that was gonna end in Tamac Brigida death, but no.
No.
She just falls before he gets there.
She just fell over.
That was bad teamwork from Fusion University. You gotta play it to the moment.
But that like I said earlier, this is so far, I love the usage of ults on Fusion University's side. They're not trying to get like huge hero plays with them. They're using them to get maximum utility and to ensure that a highly mobile comp like we saw on point 2 wasn't able to get value.
He's doing it again. Changsik going for the, once every now and then. This is where you have to wonder, where's the Reinhardt?
They know. Fusion's looking.
Okay.
Fusion's looking for him. They should know 100%.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's just simple math, right? I know this is NA Contenders and, there's a reputation about math, but you do the math, you look for the Reinhardt. 0 Reinhardts. Where can he be? Well, he's right there. Still found a way to knock down 2.
Oh man, and Dino was not able to get there in time to intercept that charge. If he'd been able to save Klaus, that still could have been a winnable fight. But now they used Trance, and they didn't get any value out of it. That Shatter, I mean, they might as well just saved it with all the value they got there. And now they have nothing to recontest the point. No support ults, no ults at all. And we're looking at a grab Evil combo and both Trance and Rally.
And the scary thing here is how much Fusion is just retaking control of this game. They could set an even quicker time for Dorado, where it's already fast to begin with. Now, that was pretty aggressive there from Nice, but it does the job. He gives his life for a good cause, and now they're rolling in, and they can't get on the point. The Rheinhammer doing just enough knockoff there with Elk.
And that was perfect from Fusion. That was way better even than Uprisings, which was a pretty solid offense. That was so much better. Even though the time differences don't show it, I think the play was like a lot cleaner.
It was one of those things where once Fusion got rolling, it didn't really seem like anything was going to stop them. We didn't have the weird Widow v. Widow mini game there. And look, I will give Uprising all the credit in the world, as I'm sure our cast will, of livening things up with different gameplay. But a well-executed GOATS is hard to beat. That's why we see it so often.
Yeah, absolutely, ZP. And I'm really looking to see if Uprising will continue to use this Pharaoh Widow setup, because they had a lot of success with it before, and it looks like they might be doing it again.
And yeah, I think they are going to go for it again. And look, it was very, very effective on point A. And okay, we do have some adaptation coming out here. Got Alarm coming out here on the Ana. And why do you think the Ana would be more attractive of an option here compared to a Zen, where they know that this is a possibility?
It's definitely, well, Alarm on Ana is scary, and Ana is actually very, very strong against Pharah Mercy because she can actually shoot them out of the sky. She's really, really good. But also, in addition to that, if you're not getting those engages you want with the Zen, because you're not getting any value out of Discord, or if you're playing against a mobile comp versus GOATS, maybe use Ana, get that sustain, build nano boost, and then try to get a little bit more value.
Makes sense to me. I mean, really, I think Alarm just sitting here going, Papa Jeff, can you add headshots into Ana? Thank you, Alarm. That would be scary.
That would be scary. That would be a definitely thank you, Jeff Kaplan, very cool moment.
That would be a very cool moment as Alarm just becomes the best DPS of our time while also healing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm watching Klaus just get bombarded by Alarm right now as he's trying to cross this. He did mess up his E, but like Alarm was just like pelting them.
Alarm's just like, I will shoot you out. Oh, wait, is Klaus had enough? Is he
yeah, they're swapping because they don't want to put the Alarm on it. It's scary, dude.
He's just like, Alarm can actually shoot us. We go Brigida.
And look, they're taking, while asking is changing, and Klaus, they just take this aggression so fast into them.
We saw them go into the spawn room. Get them, boys. Well, okay, they're out of the spawn room. They're going on back. It is classic GOATS coming on out, and Jangsik just barely getting healed back up. Alarm going, all right, I guess I'm going to stop doing damage. I'm going to heal you. It doesn't make me happy.
Yeah, and right here, I think Alarm is going to want to set up an anti-nade here, because he will also have nano soon, and then they can clean up that. I think that's what they're going to be going for, and I think it would be really smart.
Nano boost, ready. Reinhardt diving on in, and I do think he has the nano.
Okay. He disappeared. He's gone.
Yeah, he just got vanished right into the ether. He gone. And now back the other way. Graviton being used here by Fusion University, and it's not going to be enough. Asking just doesn't care.
Oh my! All around the setup of that play was so good, ZP, but every bit of it went wrong. Chainsick went deep. They weren't able to get the nano, and then they set up for a grab on the corner with Nice, and he solo grabbed Klaus, and they could trance.
Well, guys, buckle your seatbelts. We don't know where this ride is going. The most exciting part in Overwatch here, overtime pushes here on Escort. There's a payload. Let's see where we go.
This is actually distinctly possible, that we see them cap all 3 points, because look at the ult economy between the two teams right now. They have nothing, and I think Uprising has all the momentum.
Or you could have just caster cursed them, and we see the most epic of C9s.
Absolutely not. That would never happen.
You know what? You underestimate your own power.
I do underestimate my own power. You're right.
We're getting into it, though. Overtime. Fusion looking for a way to stop this here. They do not want to deal with one of those crazy overtime pushes. Graviton, though, in from asking. Here comes the bomb right to the back. Nice barrier in time from Elk. But it's not enough to save Bernard. It's enough to save the team. They still have outs here. Changsik in real trouble. Gets our shield and drops the hammer! But is the follow-through going to be there? They get Dino. Chang ends up giving up his life. And no, it's not quite enough. Uprising is standing tall.
Oh, and Snillo dying so early there with that rally is so bad. I think they could have brought that back, but they just didn't have that focus fire. They were able to survive the initial draft, but there was no focus on Chainsick's ult, and then Snillo died really early with that rally, and should have maybe used it either more practically or not used it at all.
What tension do you feel as a player when you know you just need one team fight, but it feels out of reach?
I mean, you definitely feel a existential dread. You're like, oh, we've thrown it away straight to the dumpster, and that is 100% what they're feeling, but they need to come back, they need to have a strong recontest here, and this is 100% winnable.
So what I'm getting here is that Fusion is now going to go dumpster diving, gonna try and bring this one back that they maybe threw away. Now you see Nice here, holding on to the grab again, being mindful of the Diva. Gonna connect with the grab, self-destruct, going on in from Bernard. Is it gonna get what he wants? Good Swimmer, might be good enough, and it even got the D-Mech. Now Fusion, they're gonna take a moment, move back on in, they finish off Dino, and this payload stops here.
Wow, and that was so close. Uprising still could have brought that back in the end. They had Fusions and Asking both had ult, but still, I think Fusions had a little bit of sloppy play there on the streets and on first, but they definitely managed to stop it before it could have gotten to like some very bad situation for them.
So 3-4 here, and here's the interesting thing about the situation, something that's very promising if you are a fan of Uprising here, right, is that you take a look at the time for the teams. Even if Fusion does everything right, This is ending in overtime, which means anything can happen.
I agree. It's very, very tough still. This is a long push. This is a very long push, and it's on a map that's very traditionally hard to push from first to even get the second point because of the distance. It's just so big. So I think that Fusion's going to have to play perfectly. They're going to have to play like really, really well. And I mean, maybe we'll see some playmaking, or we might just see goats again. Either way, they're going to have to play super tight.
This is one of those things where you kind of see the mettle of the team is that, you know, how much fear do you feel? How much fear does it take to make a man resort to goats? And, you know, the answer usually is not much fear. In fact, you could have no fear at all and just open the game with it, as we've seen. But we also see teams that do like mixing it up, that will kind of revert to the tried and true when their backs are against the wall. And, you know, take a look at Fusion University here, because obviously we're not going to be seeing Elk stay on the Widow for any length of time. Probably just going to that tried and true.
Yeah, definitely. And I do see that Uprising Academy they're keeping that same composition they had before with that Tracer Widow, where they're going to try to abuse those flanks, abuse the high ground, and just essentially their whole goal here is going to be to farm a lot of pulse bombs.
We'll see if Klaus is able to do just that. Klaus, of course, you know, ye old Tracer gameplay here, hide in a corner, hope they don't check it.
Yeah, absolutely. They're setting up on high ground. Looks like Klaus is going to try to do some poke damage. Maybe they're going to set up an engage here at the choke. He's hiding. Oh! Asking gets alarm. Oh my goodness, Asking. He's nuts. He's so good on Widow.
Meanwhile, Klaus doing a little bit of squats, hoping not to get leg cramps. He's been in the same position for quite a while. Asking is stalled out all on his own. His day will come.
That is the second time that Asking, by the way, has picked alarm coming through that choke when they did not need that to happen.
Yeah, I mean, part of it is also Alarm just looks for opportunities because he feels he can take out Widows, right? Where Alarm is one of those people where he'll try to be aggressive, but sometimes it bites you.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And here comes Fusion pushing the show right now. Klaus is going to be on their backline, sort of peppering, trying to farm that pulse bomb. And this is smart from Uprising. They should not chase them at all, especially in this area. And he survives the combo. Oh my god, and he gets out. That's so big.
Snillo, you had one job, and now you don't kill the Tracer. Alarm has to turn his attention back. The Tracer's a huge pest. You've lost your main tank. This is quickly going the way of Uprising.
This is really good from Elk here. He needs to be contesting Klaus. His Brig can't chase, and that's Elk's job right there, to peel the Tracer off of him and make him use those cooldowns. Uprising a little low on health, and Swimmer's going to go down to Alarm.
And that's big. Alarm coming in when his team needs it most. They deal with the Mercy. Down goes Klaus, and suddenly Fusion University looking reinvigorated for this fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And this should be a one fight for Fusion University. And if I'm Uprising, I'm saving everything. And I'm perhaps swapping. I mean, Asking does almost have Infinite Sight, but you know where they are. They're all in the cart. You don't really need it.
This is all about knowing your win conditions. You need one fight, and you get 2 to 3 attempts to do it. It's time to save. Austerity should be the name of the game right now for the Uprising.
Yeah, absolutely. And they realistically, not 3. It's going to be 2 fights, CP.
All right, you know, we can debate on the math, but I can see where it's just 2, especially if it's a longer fight.
Yeah, they would have to be really fast and have some really great strategies here. I think that 3 fights, though, it is possible. Because also, the ult economy is definitely not in their favor. And here they go, take a really fast engage. There's the grab. There's also the rally from Zillow. They're popping a lot of ults in this fight, actually.
Yeah, I think Uprising's found that, like, all right, did they use everything? Yes. Excellent.
Yeah, that was perfect for Uprising, because now there's gonna be 3 ults up for Fusion, but Uprising has plenty of time to build their own, and they still have plenty of ults of that value.
Yeah, it comes down to what are your win conditions, and your win condition is get 1 fight. They didn't need that one.
I think Fusion right there, they're worried because they don't want to lose that fight. You can't afford to lose that fight, so they pop more ults than they needed to, but maybe should have done a little bit more restraint.
Uprising coming up here, looking to retake the high ground. High pressure here for Changsikin. Oh, all right. I think he was intending to drop on down here. They're going to rotate it back over. Dare Uprising move into them. Self-destructive, Crack doesn't get anything. One big bomb dodge here from Fusion University. Here comes the hammer. Knocks down 2. Looking for the Brigida. Transcendence out. Does he get anything? No, absolutely nothing caught by Changsikin there. Both teams still even. 6v6. Ultimate fight here coming up. Payload getting awfully close. Changsikin, though, deleted. But it comes at a cost. Crack out the fight. Graviton in. Hammer down here from Fusion's Boston. Moving on in. The Uprising trying to hold this right here, and they're going to do it.
Yeah, that was so big for Uprising. Dino's trans kept everyone alive, and I was a little bit worried at first because I thought they were a little bit too. They were just kind of shooting the gun on the D-bomb from Crackalakin, but they were actually able to. It was great. It was just perfect, and that was solid play from Uprising.
And that means we're going to a map 5. So the Uprising, again, I think if you really go back and reflect on it, right? We see times where even the most experienced of teams have this just misguided view that you have to win every fight. No, you just got to know your win conditions, and you throw your pride to the side, let the other team chuckle as they get the team wipe notification, but then they use Grav Bomb, and they're not going to have it for the fight they need it for.
Yeah, absolutely. That was key, and Uprising identified that, and they just had they pretty much played fundamental Overwatch, and that's really when you get down to it, especially when you're in very meatball compositions like this, fundamental Overwatch wins the day, and they realize we have plenty of time to take this fight. We can build ults. They don't have any, all the impetus is against them, so we can win as long as we set it up properly.
And that means we are going to be heading to a map 5. Now, granted, you think all the way back to Contenders Season 1, this was kind of Fusion's home territory. It was like, bring everything to 5 and then win it. But also, I mean, scary because, of course, they have made a lot of roster changes. We'll see what map they decide to bring it to here. But, you know, the roster changes could result in Fusion getting their first loss.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see here asking, he uses Force the entire time on this Widow.
Yeah, I mean, we had a moment here in this fight where we went back to the good old days. Widow v. Widow. Smug Lady versus Smug Lady, and both Asking and Snillo had their moments. And like I said, I can almost feel joy coming out through Snillo. More joy than he had in any walkthrough ever, right? Where he just walks in, he's just like, I get to play Widow again.
I don't know. I mean, he had a lot of joy in the past season of Overwatch League with all of his Philly walkouts. I think he had plenty of joy before.
I mean, look, Tucker was very clear. It's like, hey, his walkout game, you know, not really the greatest, but we can fix it.
Yeah, we can fix it. And I do think that it was nice to see that flexibility. It was nice to see just Asking was so strong on Widowmaker. Still had a lot of great moments too, but I was really impressed with Asking's play on Widow in particular. He got picks when he needed to, and then Chainsick as well. I still think he's been doing the right plays here. He's still been showing he's just constant improvement. I think through the series. Yeah,
I mean, look, he went from what arguably could have been the problem early on to very much not. So I'm not at the point where I'm going to chalk that up to, hey, first official patch with new team. I get it. I totally get it. But you know who's also getting it now? Chainsick, because he's been playing very, very well.
Yeah, absolutely. But at the end of the day, it still was a breakdown in terms of the ult economy, in terms of the push for Fusion University, and Uprising just had a much better handle on it. And also, I just want to touch upon it. That last fight, Dino's trance was so good to keep the team alive. It allowed Fusion to get his ult, allowed Asking to get his ult, and it just was exactly what they needed.
Yeah, I mean, it's been all-star play on both sides, and that's how you get Map 5s here in Overwatch. What a great way to end our first day back here with Contenders NA Season 3. Of course, we're going to have that map for you in just a second. And, you know, obviously for control maps, preferences vary. We're going to Nepal, and what do you think that might be?
Well, I think Nepal is very well suited to Fusion University. We saw, I think they just have that aggression that you need on Nepal. I think also with Chainsick just waking up more and more as the series went on, and Alarm just being such a force, and Elk as well just being really synergizing really well with him. I think Koth is like their map. They may have lost that first Koth, but I think a lot of it was just like waking up.
Yeah. No, I totally believe it. Especially it's been kind of the Philly MO, and you know, I don't think they're in a situation where they can benefit from, say, Chef Heidi's cooking, but man, there's something in the water here for Fusion where just, yeah, things are going bad. Oh, we'll find the solution. We'll come up over the top, which is why this would be pretty crazy for the Uprising to come forward and take the series, even if it is against a team that has had significant changes.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. They just need to bring their momentum back. They need to get in their groove again, and I think they have. I think they have 100%. I'm seeing a lot of polish, but I still think it's anyone's game. I just think I understand why Fusion is wanting to take it to Nepal, because it rewards aggression so well and solid, decisive play.
So we've come in here with a few expectations back and forth, right? What really has kind of surprised you between these two teams? Where you had the point in the storyline and you look at it and go, I didn't expect that. What would it be?
I would say I was surprised at how effective Asking made, and Klaus as well. Asking and Klaus as a DPS duo, I mean, they were just so, despite running comps that you wouldn't really expect to be effective against the GOATs, it shows that if you play it right, if you play around the weaknesses of GOATs, you can actually get a lot of value from the Tracer and the Widow, and I think that's showing a lot in the play of Uprising, is Asking and Klaus showing up big.
Now, you know, you take a look at this here where you do have Widow and Tracer suddenly coming out into play. Do you think we're living in a world where teams really haven't explored all the situations where you can go off the script here and have good use with these off comps? And be part of it's just, there's only so many hours in the day, right? Like for every hour you spend not getting good at GOATs and trying these other strategies, if they don't work out, you're behind on prep, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's sort of like a sunken cost fallacy that we're looking at potentially. But I think that there's definitely a lot more room for teams to make an experimentation with DPS, because at the end of the day, GOATs is even with dive, they're very bubbled. They don't have a lot of maneuverability, and you can make use out of like characters like Tracer still, but you just have to play it much more safer and not as aggressive as you could before.
Yeah, the entire old school Tracer is just like, yeah, I'm Tracer, and I'm just going to post up really wherever I want. Good luck.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're looking like we're getting here onto Sanctum for the first stage of this Nepal map. And it looks like potentially, I wouldn't be surprised at all to see the Orisa Roadhog come out here, because it's traditionally been very strong.
Risa Roadhog, of course, it's a classic. And, you know, part of that is, what do both heroes do? They like chucking people in pits.
They do, and there's a lot of pit to be chucked into on this map, and it's very easy to do so. Now, it won't change my opinion. I still think Roadhog is a really bad hero, but I do think he has a lot of value on this particular stage.
So this is where we're gonna slowly start walking back to our marks here, because I don't think Asking is back. That is the mystery man.
No,
there.
he's back.
Oh, okay, he's back. All right.
He was just deciding what he wanted to do, and it looks like it's Zarya, but he's way behind his team. He must have come back a little bit late, because he is not there for that rollout.
All right, so Asking is back, but there is a penalty to be paid, as you kind of mentioned here. Meanwhile, though, you look on the other side, we do have the Risa Hog and play for Fusion.
Yeah, absolutely. And Fusion's goal here is they want to weather the storm. Are they going back to spawn? It looks like they've just gone back to spawn, actually. So they're swapping. They're not even because remember what we talked about earlier on Hanamura, Orisa versus Goats. They just run over you, and I actually agree with that play a lot.
Oh, Orisa, you know what? You still have a place in pub games because people will always play you there, whether it makes sense or not. That's just reality. But also reality is Uprising. They have taken the point early because of their bold choice of going Goats, I suppose, and as a result, it puts Fusion in a bit of a hole.
Yeah, absolutely. And right here, this is what Uprising likes to see. Yeah, they rolled out late, and they still get the point, and they have great positional advantage here because it's Goats v Goats. And this is really where it's on them to control the tempo.
You know, it's that Galaxy wrinkled brain coming out there from Asking where he knew. But oh, Dino going on a search for Mondada's gold right down into the pit. And Fusion, it's a slower start, but they are going to get back in here off of the opening from Elk and retake the point.
Yeah, that was a huge boot from Elk. When Dino's out of the fight, when the Zin's out of the fight, that's so much damage off the field and healing. Utility's just gone. It's so much off the field once you get that boop. And they were just able to pressure out then because you don't have those orbs coming into your team.
Uprising coming back on over. Fusions with a shatter. So slight edge here for Uprising in terms of that.
Yeah, absolutely. They should be looking to set up the shatter early because all the impetus is on them here. There's Chainsick's not even close yet. He is relatively close, but he's not that close. But they do have grab.
Oh, they're going to drop the shatter early on. Grab, though, coming back out the other way, and the grab just more effective. 3 down immediately off of the setup, coming in from Nice. Gives up his life for it, but you know, it's kind of been his story here this game, getting blown up terribly, but winning the fight.
Yeah, and that was a really, I mean, it's definitely worth it. When you get the perfect grab, even if you die, if your team's able to follow off of it, that's more important than being alive, honestly. And right there, they were able to negate the fact that they could even go for a shatter effectively by getting that grab really early and splitting the team.
So Fusion University wanting to put this one away at the 50% mark here. We'll see how they set on up. Biggest threat here, of course, on the other side, going to be Asking with the Graviton. Fusion going to be holding a little bit further back at the point, daring Uprising to move in on them. Meanwhile, they're all armored up.
Yeah, and this is the perfect play because they should know that Uprising has this portal advantage here, and they want to get their own, and they want to make them come to them because Chainsick still has Shatter.
And they take a lot of time to decide to make that move, and Elk again finds another boop to start things off, and Fusion just sort of wait back, make it come at you. Defense, it's brilliant right now.
And for some reason, Asking used grab in that fight, and it was Eden. There's no grab now for Uprising, which is a huge ult combo off the field. And now both support ults are up for Fusion University, which makes, and Nice is already at 64% to another grab. So this is actually exactly where they want to be. If anything, if I'm Fusion, I just keep holding the point here because it seems like Uprising doesn't have a solution yet.
You know, you've played a lot of Lucio. How much fun do you think Elk is having right now?
Honestly, I don't think Elk is having that much fun because you're really worried of being Rig Bash, getting Diva. There's so many options that could happen here.
So you're still worrying about the CC even while trying to send people into the abyss. I got it. Self-destruct in from Uprising. All hands on deck because they have to be nice though. Drops the grab right into the cubby hole. They're going to get Swimmer immediately. Barrier now out. Fusion just turning the screws right now to the Uprising. You're going to see Crackalack and Kenty mech'd. We have another boot back the other way. Chainsick off, but Elk gets Klaus again. It is a brawl here at the point, but one that Fusion perhaps might be winning. Snillo just able to dive on forward and uncheck Brigitte on the way.
Oh man, Snillo just got so much value right there. And Fusion's had a massive shadow too, but they could not clean up at all because Fusions and Elk and all the backline of Fusion University were alive. There was no way to follow up effectively. And right there, I like to call it a silly round, CP. That's a pretty silly round because we had a messed up rollout, we had Fusion go back to spawn, and yet at the end, they still take it.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those things where it's just like, we got a lot of highlights for the blooper reel there, and yeah, it's absolutely silly. But what isn't silly here is that Fusion is one round away from continuing their proud tradition of, you know, you think we're gonna lose, but then we're not.
Psych.
Even at 5, yeah.
That's a classic psych right there. And it looks like both teams rolling out here on Goats for this mid-fight, which is to be pretty expected. I think generally one of the only variants you could run is maybe a Fair and a Sombra, or even a Mei, but it looks like both teams wanting to just brawl.
You know, I think about Fusion University over the course of the seasons here, and I think it's the most debate I've seen since the last time I watched Charlie Brown play football with Lucy, which really isn't playing, just him kicking the air.
Oh, that is a topical reference that today's youth will understand, ZP, I think. And here we are.
I'm from Minnesota. Look, okay, Charles Schultz is my jam.
That's true, and they're pretty much Fusion University just going to be taking the high ground while Uprising takes the point here, and they're just looking to set up.
All right, Fusion University on the way. Gonna get set up here once more. You see the shield on the Chang. Gonna get him out of a very tough situation. Now Fusion University, again, now that they're all healed up, they're gonna engage more on the point. Uprising, of course, right for him. Fusion's getting chunked early. This is gonna get the edge. Now the two Fusion University, but it's too much. They overdive, they lose their Rhine, and Uprising is able to tilt it right back away.
And right there, this should just be cleanup for Uprising here. They shouldn't be losing anyone, they shouldn't lose any energy, and it looks like they're not. And that is a tale of two Zarya bubbles, if I've ever seen one. Nice to use bubble very, very early for Chanks to get that early aggression, but Asking was able to save his refusions, and then they were just able to re-engage.
Uprising Academy not going quietly into the good night here and saying, okay, you guys want to bait us and think that we're not going to take this? You know, have you considered round 3? You want to make this real spicy?
Yeah, it could be a little spicy here, but I still think that Fusion has a lot of opportunity to open this up. But, I mean, there's a huge transformation for Uprising here. Sorry, I'm losing my mind here in this game, and I think Dino should take it really aggressively into them.
So we see Fusion University going right back around again. Just going to try and bring this straight to the point. Nice holding onto the Graviton. Giving due respect to the Diva on the other side, as you really have to do in this situation. Waiting, lands the grab, pulls that up, and oh, the self-destruct doesn't get to the point at all. It just gets stuck as it was trying to move on forward, and that's big as we will go forward here. The Claw still out of the fight. Fusion University, they drop the Shatter, don't get much immediately, but it's still overwhelming pressure. Grab coming in though from the Uprising side, and Chang able to weather the storm just enough. Oh, finally falls, but they have to extend hard to actually get him.
And right here, Snillo is popping that rally though, and they're going really, really aggressively here into Uprising, and this should be actually a retake because that rally is giving so much value. Snillo is doing so much on the point, but Elk coming in with Alarm, and they're cleaning up with Nice, and actually that's so good for them.
They're going to get right back over, and even though it's going to be 80% and a little bit of spare change here for, oh, a little bit extra delay there. Nice stuff from Swimmer. Gets a few extra points there. One team fight margin, but Fusion of all teams, they could hold this.
And you know what Fusion did there for that Diva Bomb combo? The Diva Bomb didn't just get stuck. Fusion shattered it. He shattered the Diva Bomb, and so it wasn't able to go any further because that isn't an interaction that can happen, and so it wasn't able to get to where it needed to go, but it wasn't really in that great of trajectory anyways. But right here, this is good for Fusion University. They have ults, they have trance, they should be taking aggressive fights.
University, top here, Shatter coming in, further back, Graviton, reserve, again, waiting for the perfect grab, drops it, gonna get 3, Dino in a bit of trouble here, and now you see the charge coming on in, Reinhardt v Reinhardt, Fusion's gonna fall, and the grab has done enough.
That was really good from Fusion University there, especially Nice. He had a really nice grab. I was afraid at first it looked like they weren't ready to follow up on it, but they all collapsed perfectly, and they were actually just able to clean it up.
So now we look forward here. Uprising, they only need 1 fight. Is there any way they should alter their play? Like, should they play for every fight right now?
I actually think the problem with King of the Hill here is that if you play for the ult economy, you're just feeding them more ults, and Nice is going to get them a lot. So it might be at some point, if you see the opportunity to, you shouldn't be trying to save ults, you should just be taking the fight.
It's definitely a tough choice either way. You don't want to throw ults into a losing fight, but yeah, to your point, you can build up ults back the other way. So Uprising trying to find a way to crack on over, Asking. Gonna be taking the left flank. Graviton up, and it's a nice one right to the back. Alarm, though, is able to find Dino early on. Both teams down to support. And an Alarm continues. No one's looking at Alarm. He's getting pick-off after pick-off, but his team dying around him right now. It's rough for Fusion University, and they do lose control of the point.
And right here, Snillo does have that rally up. And there's the grab out for Nice. I think that's actually going to be the cleanup because there's no way they're going to be able to win this.
All right, so, okay, we have the emergency Hammond coming on in, and that should be enough for Fusion University recapping. That puts in 1-fight territory for them to take the series.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is actually really, really good for Uprising because Dino can come back, and even though he won't have that transfusion, does have the Shatter, and they're about to have beat. So right here, since there is no shield character on the play, if they can get those Zarya bubbles out, they can absolutely get a really good Shatter.
Fusion University One more fight to keep the undefeated streak alive. Uprising looking to bring this to a round 3. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to be approaching here from the main, which I think is about their best bet. And right here, if I'm Fusion University, I'm using my trans aggressively. I know they don't have anything, and I'm trying to get a pick. And right here, they go into the main.
That was a nice pile driver coming in. Dino immediately eliminated. Heavy damage going to Uprising. The barrier comes out, but it's late. It's after they've already lost Dino. Fusion's isolated, and even though Uprising was so close to flipping, it's not going to happen. Stillo unchained into the back, and Fusion University crushing dreams here again. It goes to 5, but we know who's standing on top. Fusion University continuing their stretch of dominance. New team, perhaps same as the old team.
Yeah, absolutely. They started off to a slow start this series, but I think they really found, like we said, they found their stride at the end of the series, and that was really good. We saw they had those double support ults there at the end, and they didn't wait. You don't want to play reactively, you want to play proactively, and that's what they did. They would engage, and they got a backline pick.
I mean, also just smart play there, right? Also just being able to use the ham in short notice where, look, you don't always get high value in the Hammond, but that was a nice slam there towards the end. That disrupted them.
Yeah, absolutely. But unfortunate that Fusion's really wasn't able to find any value out of not having a shield character on the field. No. But, I mean, Fusion University just played it so well, where even if you may have been able to get the shatter off, there was no way to find value anyways.
I will say, though, here is that no shame here for the Uprising, right? We're obviously a little bit rebranded, slight change in the air, but they look to be very much powered up from where they were last season. Yeah, it's a change from the old guard. You don't have the old narrow Dalton combo there, but sometimes change is good. I think they found actually a more potent combination all in all, and I'm really excited to see what they do over the course of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Asking and Cost have a huge ceiling available to them, and in particular, I think Chainstick has just woke up all throughout this series.
And, you know, this isn't the first time we saw this from Fusion University, right? Where I remember where Crackalacken, of course, used to be on the team back in Season 1, right? When they replaced him for Bernard. Bernard might have had a little bit of a shaky start, and then it's like, oh, I'm playing for Fusion University. We just win these games. It's fine.
We just win. It doesn't really matter. But also, Bernard's no slouch, though. He's really, really good.
Oh, he's excellent.
I think Bernard is like one of the best divas in Contenders, potentially. He's so strong.
Yeah, it was one of those things that worked out very well for Fusion University. Not saying Crackalacken didn't have as much as this game. He certainly did. Off-take battles, interesting. And oh, man, when you get caught in the corner with the grab and nowhere to go, that right there.
Yeah, and this is really just where you not want to be when you're a tank-v-tank comp. Because when you get stuck in that room, you just get mortared, you get so much value out of your ultimates, and the AoE damage is just so strong.
It's certainly a rough spot to be in, but hey, you know, one thing that I think that is worth reflecting on here, and yeah, we meme about it a little bit, is that, yeah, we might be seeing a lot of 3-3 here, but you're still going to see situations where teams flex out of it, and even as teams running the same comps, right, you're still going to see times where you do see change-ups and variations are important. We saw players stand out today in mirror matchups where it's like, hey, this player is consistently playing well, so there's still a lot cool to be said here for this first day of play.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we saw a lot of Tracer on Dorado, which is something no one expected to see, but I was really happy to see because I see a team working around the advantage that it gives them. It was a close match overall, and realistically, even though Fusion definitely woke up at the end, I don't think they necessarily outplayed them at every level. I think that it could have gone either way. Really, just a couple things gone different.